your long ball. Stretch, stretch, stretch. You can put it on the board. Yes.
Welcome to Sports Circus. I'm your Ringmaster Sal, live from the MTV Mobile Studios here in Pittsburgh, downtown Pittsburgh. That's AAMP TV. Folks, today's show is brought to you by Legal Shield, providing legal protection and peace of mind. Legal Shield can offer traffic tickets, texting and driving, DUIs, court appearances, estate planning, even contracts given to people they don't understand. For more information, contact Legal Shield at 213-245-1305. That's 213-245-1305. Or visit them online for more information at nocourt.us. That's nocourt.us. And a big welcome in to everybody listening in on our CBS, NBC, and Fox Sports affiliates from coast to coast, iHeartRadio, Spotify, those watching in 650,000 hotel rooms from coast to coast, as well as YouTube, Facebook, Twitter. We're everywhere, folks. And guess what? Right from the very top, we have a very special guest. In fact, we're going to let him introduce himself. Go ahead.
Hi, I am Herschel Walker, University of Georgia, Dallas Cowboys, Minnesota Vikings, Philadelphia Eagles, New York Giants. I've traveled the globe to play with every team just in case I run for president. I can carry those stakes. So how is everyone doing today?
We've got the great Herschel Walker with us today. Yes! Very exciting. Very exciting. Hey, listen, man, we are right in smack in the middle of the college football season. I'm going to ask you a couple of questions here. Now, with all the havoc and mayhem and craziness that's been going on, we've seen some preseason rankings that we always do. You know what it's like to win a national championship. And then we see the regular season, right? But now think about this. You got 3 of the Power 5 that started ahead of time. And then you've got the Big Ten and the Pac-12 that's going to join in the party a little bit later. How is this even fair from a ranking standpoint? And I want you to also answer the question, what about those other teams in the group of 5?
Well, I think it's going to be very tough to rank any teams right now. You know, most other teams are playing within their division, and which I think is great. Because of these are tough times right now. We're playing just within your division right now and trying to say who should be number 1, number 2, number 3. You know, before the season started, before this pandemic, you know, I had my teams that I thought was going to be the best teams in college football. But because of everything that's happening right now, I can't say that those teams are going to be the best. You know, you take a little bit of time to get your feet underneath you. And plus, you know, some of the guys are opting out and, you know, some of the things are changing. So I think it's very hard to rank people right now. I think what they got to do, and I think that'll be the most important thing, is let people play within their conference and see every conference champion get a chance to go into the playoffs. And then you take the next maybe 2 teams that you think is very competitive, and those go into the playoffs. I think that's what you can do. I think that'll be the most fairest thing you can do right now, and not just try to rank anyone until they get into the playoffs.
Yeah, and you know, my problem is I think about the group of 5, Herschel, and I wonder about the AAC, and I take teams like Central Florida, a healthy Central Florida team that is certainly good enough to play with just about any other club in this country, and they've proven it, whether they have injured players or whatnot. We'll go back a couple of years. You know, they played LSU in the Fiesta Bowl minus their starting quarterback and a couple of other key pieces, and they still played. By the way, that championship team from LSU that won it last season, they played that same group of guys very, very well. And right now they're ranked 13th. And how in the world are they ever going to stay anywhere in the top 5 or 6 or 10 if the Big Ten or when the Big Ten starts to play? Because they already had 3 teams in the top 11.
Well, that's the reason I say I think every conference champion need to go into the playoffs. There's going to be a longer playoffs because, you know, they cut the season down, which I think is only suitable. But I think every conference champion go into the playoffs, and then you may have I hate to say a board that select the next 2 teams that may go in as well. And it may be a few more playoffs teams, but it makes it more exciting. I think it'll be fair because at the same time, when UCF did well that year, I thought they should have had an opportunity to play because you never know. You don't know anyone's heart, and you don't know how well they're going to play against anyone. And in bowl games, you know, those are big games. And UFC went out and, you know, they beat LSU. They played one heck of a game. And I think they have to be credited for what they've done and what they've done over the past couple of years. They've in the last five years, they've had some incredible teams. And I think they should be credited for that.
They certainly should. Now, Herschel, I've been behind the fact that I wanted all the Power Five, and frankly, I wanted all the colleges to play. And whether it was the president pushing for the Big Ten he wants them to get out there and play. You know what? Those kids want to play. And I think all the kids that play in the HBCUs, they want to play. Everyone want to play. But I love the fact that the president got behind them and said, let's go. Let's get out there and play. How do you feel about that?
Well, I was excited about it. And that's the reason I told people, I said, guys, you got to give this president credit. People don't want to do that. But I'm going to give him credit because this president, he spoke for the voiceless. He spoke for those players that wanted to play, those parents that wanted to play. And one thing that people do not know is the president made a call. He made a call to the commissioner, not just to the commissioner, but he talked to the players. He talked to the parents, and his administration stayed on calls, and he wanted to see them play. They were talking about playing, and that's what's great about this president here. I've known him for a long time, and I've been saying that. And one of the things that people think the reason I'm doing it, because I don't know why they think I'm doing it, but I said, guys, the only thing that Herschel walked in to speak is the truth. I know this guy here cares about America. He cares about the citizens in America. Everyone is not going to be happy, but that's not meaning that everyone got to be happy, because sometimes you're going to make some people angry. But you got to do what's right for this country. And right now, I think these guys want to play. And I said early on when they first asked the question, should they play? And I said, yes, they should play, because how could you tell me that a player at a university that got the greatest doctors in the world, they got some of the greatest facilities in the world, they're going to be checked twice a week, and these doctors are going to take care of them, rather than them being at home where they don't have that type of care. They're in a controlled environment. That's one of the best places they can be at as a team, as a unit, and it is a team. I think that's one thing people are getting about is this is a unit. This is a team. These guys are taken care of. And I know this pandemic is something very serious, and you got to take it serious. But at the same time, we cannot get back to any norm. We got to get back to normalcy. And I think there are some people out there that I think that's the problem. I think that's the problem right now is because of what's going on right now. People don't want us to get back to normalcy because of political world. But don't get these athletes involved in that. They don't deserve to be involved in that. They came to play, get a college degree, and to play college football. So give them that opportunity to do it.
Right. Big round of applause for that. I feel the same way. Let these kids get out there. Look, Herschel, for 20 years, I've been an academic recruiter, and I always try to have these kids follow the paths, stay the course. Now, these football players, a lot of them are opting out because they get the course taken away from them because there seems to be some kind of agenda out there. And there are some clubs, and we'll go back to Central Florida, they got 10 kids that are not playing because they opted out. Now, what about the kids that are trying to opt back in? Now, Ohio State had an issue with this, and they're trying to get some of their players to be able to opt back in for the season. It's going to start in a certain amount of time. But how do you feel about that? Is there a problem with the schools and liability, in your opinion, by saying, hey, we're not going to play, but oh, by the way, we're going to change course, and now we are going to play? Now, that takes that athlete, imagine that being you, the athletes, and saying, oh, guess what, Herschel, you're not going to play your senior year. We're not playing. How does that affect you and your life down the road?
Well, there's two things I'm going to say here. And one is at the beginning, if they opt out, I think that's fine. I think that's fine because they got a right to opt out. But one of the things I think you got to think about, if it takes too many games that they already have played a certain amount of games, you can't opt back in. It's a little bit too late now because they're young men. Young men are going to make mistakes. And I always tell people, you're going to make a mistake in life, but you got to get up. You got to be responsible for your action. Where if you opt out and all of a sudden after they play like 3-4 games, or let's say they played 3 games. If they played 3 games, they played well, and now you want to opt back in, well, that's tough. You can't do it. You can't do it because this team has already been going. But I would say this here, and if you look at most of the players that playing in the NFL today, they would tell you that last year that they played may have been the reason they got drafted. So I want those players to realize that it opted out. And then, my thing is I'm a team guy. I'm a guy that believes in America. I believe in my Christian faith in Jesus. I believe in family. So I believe in team, that it is my team that's going to go out there. So I'm going with my team. I would never opt out because I say, if I opt out, I'm leaving my team. I'm leaving my fellow brothers. I believe in the military, and I said, who are better to explain what leadership, what teamwork is than, our United States military?
That's right. So, Herschel, we're coming up towards the end of the segment here. It's your choice. If you want to stick around with us, you're welcome to stick around for just a few more minutes and maybe do a little bit more, talk a little bit about more what's going on in Herschel's world today. We're welcome to have you on. If you'd like to, let me know. What do you think?
Oh, no, I would love to. I would love to stay around. Thank you.
All right. It's an open floor. You never know what's going to happen here. And I'll tell you what, Herschel, we have such a diversified audience all the way from Honolulu to Boston, even in Natchez, Mississippi, Faraday, Louisiana. Oh, yeah, we got the boys over there at redneckadventures.com. We got those boys over there listening to us, man. I tell you what, I'm going to hook you up with Jim, Bob, and the boys, and we're going to get you on 107.1 FM, The River over there in that part of the country. Boy, it's a lot of fun. They're good friends of ours. Yes. And boy, I'll tell you, they know how to do it. They're just a little bit east of you over in Louisiana.
Okay, then I like that. I think I'm a guy that I can almost dance at any party I ever go to. I've been around for a long time.
We'll have to get you hooked up with the Armadillo Rodeo Roundup. Folks, we're going to be back here in just a few minutes with superstar college football Hall of Famer, should be in the Pro Football Hall of Fame. That would be Herschel Walker. Back here in just a few minutes on the Sports Circus. Lots more to come.
That's the sound of sizzling, dry-aged USDA Prime Wagyu and Angus steaks from UpperCutChops.com. Their best-in-class filet mignons, New York steaks, and the king of all steaks, the tomahawk and cowboy cut ribeyes are the best in the business. Even their Prime Wagyu burgers will likely be the best you've ever had. Browse the full selection of steaks and chops at UpperCutChops.com from the comfort of your home or on your mobile device. UpperCutChops.com delivers all-natural, dry-aged USDA Prime Wagyu and Angus steaks and chops directly to your door, without the hassle of going to the grocery store and fight crowds to pick from a small selection of average at best meats with injected steroids, fillers, and coloring added to look good. Find out what's for dinner at UpperCutChops.com or call 702-799-9935. That's 702-799-9935. 702-799-9935. Or make your selection directly at UpperCutChops.com.
Can your IRA stand up to the next financial crisis that our top economists are saying is at our doorsteps? By allocating a percentage of your IRA into physical gold and silver with a tax-free rollover, you can diversify and safeguard your holdings from turbulent markets and economic downturns by putting your IRA back on the gold standard. Find out how to safeguard your assets with a tax-free rollover with a Genesis Gold IRA, the only IRA that can hold physical precious metals. Call now for your free gold and silver report. Protect your IRA today with one simple phone call and learn how to qualify for up to $10,000 in free silver. Call Genesis Gold Group, empowering faith-driven stewardship. 800-932-5517. 800-932-5517. 800-932-5517. That's 800-932-5517. If you're living with diabetes and using insulin, you know the pain of pricking your fingers over and over again. Ouch! Well, by wearing a small remote device called a continuous glucose monitor, or CGM, you can reduce the pain of pricking your fingers. If you administer insulin 3 or more times per day or use an insulin pump, call now and learn how a CGM can help you.
Painless. No more pricking my finger.
No finger pricks.
Convenience. They delivered it free and they took care of all the paperwork.
You can reduce pain right away. Plus, it's accurate, easy to use, and helps you spend more time in range. And if you have insurance, you can get a new CGM at little or no out-of-pocket cost. Call now and get free shipping of your new CGM. Plus, we'll bill your insurance for you. 800-659-7805. 800-659-7805. 800-659-7805. That's 800-659-7805.
Welcome back to the Sports Circus. I'm your Ringmaster Sal, live from the MTV Mobile Studios here in downtown Pittsburgh. That's AAMP TV. This segment brought to you in part by Cali Vegas, helping people create and host their very own radio, TV, or multimedia talk show. Cali Vegas can help them with everything they need to get out of sitting in hours of traffic every day and host their very own talk show in their very own home studio. For more information, contact Cali Vegas at 949-445-1119. That's 949-445-1119, or visit them online for more information at calivegas.com. That's CALI Vegas.com. And a big welcome back to everybody listening in on our CBS, NBC, and Fox Sports affiliates from coast to coast. Our friends over in Las Vegas on Magic 97.9 FM, welcome in, along with those on CBS Sports 1500 KHKA in Honolulu, all the way to our friends down in Corpus Christi, Texas, CBS Sports 95.1, 96.1, and 1230 on the AM dial. Big hello to everybody over in Atlanta, 99.1 FM, WDJY. Those up in Boston, WBNW, 1120 and 102.9 FM. Back here with College Football Hall of Famer, superstar, probably the biggest and best back I've ever seen, a guy by the name of Herschel Walker. All right, Herschel, thanks for coming back.
Hey, thank you for having me back on.
All right. So Herschel, you're a big motorcycle guy, huh?
I am. I've been doing this motorcycle ride across the country called the Kyle Petty Charity Ride for chronically ill kids. They have a home in North Carolina, Random, North Carolina, where they bring in kids with chronic illness for free. And they come in, and it's just like being at a Disney World, that they get to do all the things that those kids that they can't do at Disney World, where they have chronic illness. So you have doctors, you have nurses, we have volunteers that do it. And they've been doing the ride now for 25 years, and I've been doing it with them for 15 years. They ride across the country, and they call it the Kyle Petty Charity Ride. And last year, we rode from Seattle, Washington to Key Largo, Florida. And it was about a 9-day ride. So I tell you, it's really, really exciting. I try to get a lot of athletes to do it, because normally when you hear about athletes on motorcycles, you're always hearing them crashing. So this is a way that, and I used to ride all the time. That's what's funny. I used to ride bikes all the time, but I will say this here. I think I was taught to ride a motorcycle with some of the older gentlemen on the ride here, because they taught me the proper way of riding. I learned so much from some of the guys that have been riding for years, and you're never too old to learn stuff. And I've learned a lot riding with the young people on the ride there with Kyle Petty, the Petty family, Mr. Petty, Richard Petty, Kyle Petty, Morgan Petty, the whole family, absolutely incredible.
Big round of applause for them. So out of all of your writing, now I know that you've stopped by and seen maybe some interest that you got over there in Auburn, Alabama, huh?
It is. You know what's so funny is I have a restaurant, and I have pieces of a restaurant in Auburn, Alabama called Zona's Pizza, Wings, and Waffles. So it's over there in Auburn, and so I've been telling Bo he need to go over there and eat at Zona's Pizza, Wings, and Waffles, because he can get a good meal there, and plus it's the best food he would ever eat there. You know, I've been in the food. Well, Bo is in the food business as well. So he and myself have been in the food business. Bo is a heck of a competitor, a great friend, a guy that I'm happy to call him a friend. And I tell you, a smart guy. So, you see athletes like Bo Jackson come along once in a lifetime, and he's one of those guys that I can say is a good man.
Bo with that breakaway speed. I've only seen one guy with breakaway speed like Bo Jackson.
I can outrun him. I can outrun Bo. So, he had breakaway speed, but I can beat him. He may not want to tell you that, but Herschel Walker can beat him.
I love that. The only guy that I've ever seen with that kind of speed, obviously besides Herschel Walker, was a guy by the name of Gale Sayers. And Gale had incredible breakaway speed.
He did, and he not only did he have breakaway speed, but he had that elusiveness, that real quickness. They said it's sort of like he moved like a hiccup. 1 minute he's there, the next minute he's gone. He had that Barry Sanders sort of quickness, and Barry Sanders had his type of quickness and had that speed as well, which is a hard combination to find someone to have that. To have that speed and that type of quickness is absolutely unheard of. You think of people like Deion Sanders that got that quick acceleration that can go from here to there so quickly. Tony Dorsett, a guy by the name of Gary Anderson that played for the Chargers, that was also in the USFL, played for the Tampa Bay Bandits and stuff from Arkansas. He was a guy that I thought was absolutely one of the quickest guys I've ever seen in my life. So, and I tell people this, I grew up in a small town in Wrightsville, Georgia. and that was not that much going on there. But I've been very privileged, very blessed by the Lord Jesus to have an opportunity to see the world and see a lot of great people and meet some of the finest athletes that can ever have walked this earth. And I praise God every day, and I thank my lucky stars for ever having that opportunity. And I tell all the young people out there that are listening to this call today that you're Herschel Walker. You know, I'm no better than you are, and you can do the same thing that I'm doing. You just got to dedicate yourself. You just got to work. Remember to get your education. Education is so important because, you know, and when you're 30 in football, you're starting to get old, but you can be president of the United States in your 70s. So that tells you right there that education is so important. So you just got to remember that. Continue to get that education.
That's right. That's right. The education is very important. And by the way, next time you're down in Auburn, stop by and see some friends of the Sports Circus over at the Mason Jar. You ever see the Mason Jar over there on College?
Yes, I know the Mason Jar. I know the place. I know the place.
Yes, sir.
Place. Yeah, that's a very good place. Yes, I have to stop over there.
That's Danny's place. Just make sure you stop by and ask for Danny. Tell him that your Ringmaster Sal sent you over there.
Yes, you think I get a meal free?
I think they'll take care of you. You know what they do have?
I better not say free because nothing is free in this life. I think we've been talking about free college, free this, free that. No, nothing is free in life. I want people to know nothing is free. I need to work for it. So I can pay for it since I got a job. So I bet because I think that was the wrong thing to say free because everybody started thinking everything is free. Nothing is free in life, people. Let's realize that nothing is free.
That's right. Folks, we're here with the great Herschel Walker. A big welcome back to everybody listening in on our CBS, NBC, and Fox Sports affiliates, watching us also on Hotel TV and 650,000 rooms from coast to coast. Listen, Herschel, next time you rumble into the Mason Jar, just make sure you get one of their big milkshakes. I swear to you, I have never seen a lineup like this. Imagine a team photo when you were taking a team photo with the team, right? But yes, they've got a team photo of their incredible milkshakes. I kid you not, they are gigantic. You wouldn't believe it. I'm going to send you a photo. Wait till you see it. It's going to blow you away. I've never seen a milkshake like this in my life, and they got a whole lineup of them.
Well, I tell you, I would love that. You know, you said Mason Jar. I was thinking that's like being back home. I mean, you said Mason Jar. I know what a Mason Jar is. Yes, I know that.
Hell yeah. Those are good friends. Stop by and see Danny and Christy. Great people. Big round of applause for the Mason Jar. All right, listen, yes. Herschel, we've got literally a couple of minutes left. I want everyone to know when you're going to be running for president next.
Well, you know, I don't know when I'll be running for president, but I can tell everyone out there that they need to vote, and they need to vote who they think is best for this country. And, you know, I back Donald Trump because I've known him a long time, but I back him because I say he's the right man for the job. He cares about America. And I said this in 1985. To a New York Times reporter that he probably now have thrown the article away. They don't want nobody to see it. But I thought this guy loved America. And at the same time, he's going to hold to the Constitution of the United States of America. I think people see today how everyone now want to wash over the Constitution, but we got to get back to the Constitution. There's no doubt it need to be amended in some ways. But the reason we're the best country in the world is we have law and order. We have people that really care about this country. I don't want to change from where we're at. I think we need to advance to other areas and have some equality, but we're getting there. We're getting there. This is the greatest country in the world because we have military that are wonderful. We have the men in blue that's wonderful. We have great people, and we can get along. And that's the reason I said, guys, when you go out to vote, think about who's best for this country, and that's what you want to think about.
And there's nothing wrong with that. So real quick here in the last minute, I know you and the president have known each other for 35 years thereabouts. This goes all the way back to the USFL, right? 37 years.
We've known each other for 37 years. And I told people this, you know, when I spoke at the convention, people thought they asked me to speak, but they didn't. I just heard all the lies, the mistruth that they were saying about this man. And what's weird about it, he didn't even ask me to come on and correct it. He didn't even ask, quote, because I was his black friend. He didn't even ask me to come on and say anything. I volunteered that I wanted to speak. I don't even think he knew I was going to speak. And I want to say, guys, I know this man. A matter of fact, little Ivanka and little Donald, you know, every amusement park, Disney World, SeaWorld, every place they went, I took them. They were with me for a long period of time. And I just tell people, this man is not a racist. And everyone want to throw that word out and belittle that word. That is a terrible, terrible word to call someone. Racist is not the thing we need. We need equality. And equality, if we can get it, but everybody needs it, not just African American, but everybody. This world wasn't built on the backs of African American. It was built on the back of American people. American people, from Italian, from white to Asian to Irish to Indians to all the people. They went out and they built America and made it what it is today. It wasn't just one race. It was a bunch of races coming together. God mixed us up into a big bowl and made us all mutts. So we're a bunch of mutts, and we came out and built one of the most beautiful worlds in beautiful country in the world. And I think we need to be proud of it and quit separating people by saying race and color and this and that. What we need to do is think about the blessing we have. The blessing we have is United States of America are the greatest country in the world.
All right. And those are big words of wisdom from a big man. And that would be Herschel Walker. Herschel, thanks for joining us here on the Sports Circus today. Of course, you're always welcome back, and we'll bring you back after the election so we can celebrate together.
All right, that'll be awesome.
All right, boss, you take care of yourself, and I'm your Ringmaster Sal. We're going to see you in just a few minutes right back here on the Sports Circus. Lots more to come, folks. Don't go anywhere.
Thank you.
Do you have any questions about legal issues? Have you ever been stopped by a police officer and issued a ticket that you're scared to deal with? Have you ever been in trouble with the law and don't know what to do? Do you have a will or power of attorney question? Is your home being foreclosed upon and you don't know where to turn? Maybe you were given a contract that you don't understand. For freedom and a worry-free solution, call for Legal Shield today at 213-245-1305. It's that simple. You will have access to high-quality law firms that will fight for you for less than $1 a day. Peace of mind is just a call away. That's for Legal Shield. Call 213-245-1305 or visit us at nocourt.us. It's justice for all and not justice for some. Are you a small business owner or pursuing the dream of starting your own company? Do you know where to start or how to grow that existing business? The American Business Trust Company has the answers you need. The American Business Trust Company can help you with startup capital, business strategy, sales and marketing, and establishing your company with a physical location or on the internet. You decide. You bring the idea. The American Business Trust Company can help with the rest. For a free evaluation, you may visit them online at abtrustco.com. That's ABTRUSTCO.com or call them at 657-600-1876. That's the American Business Trust Company, 657-600-1876. Call them today. They can help your business right away. This is Sal Tuzzolino, host and ringmaster of the Sports Circus. Why listen to the same old dog and pony show that you've heard all day long? The Sports Circus covers everything that other shows don't or are too scared to cover. There's no primetime show like it out here that'll punch you in the mouth and you'll beg for more. You can call in and participate with our chaos if you dare. Join me and celebrity guests for Havoc and Mayhem weekdays at 5 p.m. Pacific here on AMP TV or stream the show live at thesportscircus.com. Remember, folks, it's a circus and we prove it every day. So, you want to be in show business. Do people tell you that you're really funny, you have a great personality, and you should have your own talk show? Many of us have been told that, but we don't know how to get started. It's easier than you think. Let the pros at Cali Vegas give you a free talent evaluation. Call 949-445-1119 and learn how quickly you can create, produce, and host your very own talk show. Imagine not having to sit in traffic every day, commuting back and forth to the same old boring job. Get started in television or radio today with your free talent evaluation from Cali Vegas. Call 949-445-1119 or visit them online at calivegas.com. Make your dream come true today and create your new career and learn how to become a television or radio star with the help of Cali Vegas. 949-445-1119. Call now.
Sports Circus. I'm your Ringmaster Sal, live from the AMP TV mobile studio in downtown Pittsburgh. Yes, just had a couple of great segments with Herschel Walker. Fantastic segments. What a cool guy. Cool's the other side of the pillow, as Stuart Scott used to say from the Four Letter Network. Big round of applause for the memory of Stuart Scott. What a great guy. All right, folks, this segment brought to you in part by the American Business Trust Company, helping companies with strategy, sales and marketing, capital resources, and establishing companies with physical locations or on the internet. For more information, contact the American Business Trust Company at abtrustco.com. That's ABTRUSTCO, abtrustco.com, or visit them online or email them at info@abtrustco.com. That's info@abtrustco.com, or call them at 657-600-1876. That's the American Business Trust Company, 657-600-1876. Big round of applause for them. All right. And welcome back to everybody listening in on our CBS, NBC, and Fox Sports affiliates from coast to coast. Those streaming on YouTube, a big welcome in, as well as everybody listening in on Magic 97.9 FM over in Las Vegas, and in Louisiana and Mississippi on 107.1 The River, WDGY over in Atlanta, WBNW over in Boston. Big welcome in to everybody in Honolulu on CBS Sports 1500 KHKA and KSIX, home of the Houston Astros down in South Texas. Thanks for joining us today, and everybody else in hotel rooms from coast to coast. All right, a little bit of basketball for your soul. Now, here's a quote. I meant no disrespect. Close quote. China team cuts ex-NBA guard Ty Lawson over lewd post. Now, according to AFP, former NBA has-been point guard Ty Lawson said he has meant, quote, no disrespect, close quote, after lewd social media posts about Chinese women stirred an outcry and saw him axed by Chinese Fujian Sturgeons basketball team. Now, the Sturgeons, they will not renew Lawson's deal for upcoming Chinese Basketball Association season, which starts very soon, over inappropriate remarks. And those are air quotes for everybody listening on radio. You can't see that. By the 32-year-old. Now, Lawson, of course, being a former Denver Nuggets point guard, he was a pretty good player out of North Carolina. We're not going to completely tear him down. Now, he was pretty good. Now, he played a few seasons, of course, in the CBA, posted, of course, some offending messages on Instagram during a night out. Now, widely circulated screen grabs shows Lawson in a compromising position. That's right, in a compromising position. We'll give him a round of applause for that. With a semi-clad woman, accompanied by sexually suggestive captions. The post, quote, were not in line with the club's long-held social responsibility and core values, close quote. Now, the Sturgeons said that recently in a statement. Lawson's contract has ended with the previous CBA statement and would not be renewed in light of his post, the team added. Now, Lawson took to Instagram recently to deny his comments were racist or sexist, as claimed by outraged Chinese social media users, while adding he was dancing with a woman at a club rather than a strip joint, as reported. Now, people, quote, told me not to address this, but I got to speak up for myself. I'm probably the least racist person you've met in life. I meant no disrespect. Everyone who knows me in China knows I'm not that person. Close quotes. Now, earlier, the Sturgeons promised to, quote, strengthen education for players in terms of thought quality. A wake-up call for the club, close quote. State of Media fanned the outlying outrageous online national mayhem, with nationalist tabloid Global Times accused Lawson of insulting Chinese women. Now, Lawson signed with the Sturgeons in September of 2019 after 2 seasons with another Chinese team. Now, the Shandong Golden Stars was the other club. He had previously caused outrage after a video showed him involved in an altercation in a Shanghai Starbucks. Yes. Is controversy really something that this guy's trying to avoid, or is he trying to stir the controversy? And I have to say that if you take what Ty Lawson has done and put a magnifying glass under it, and then you put it on foreign ground, you say, wait a minute. This guy is supposed to be a leader in the community on the court. Yes, you're a paid professional, but you're also supposed to be a leader off the court in the community, whether it's foreign or domestic. You're supposed to be a good representation of the United States if you're a U.S. citizen abroad. And I just happen to believe from everything that I've read, I don't know, I wasn't there, but from the accounting and the reporting that we've heard of, it would seem reasonable to assume that Ty Lawson has come up short on his three-point shot. So guess what, Ty? You got a little bit of work to do, and we're going to give you an astounding round of boos just for doing so. Now, on a positive note, back to the community, we're going to talk a little bit of basketball on a positive side. We talk a little bit of Michael Jordan. Now, Michael Jordan always is preceded with a round of applause because, look, if you win 6 championships and you only took 6 trips to the finals, something tells me you're probably pretty good in basketball, and you probably made your team pretty darn good. Mike probably being, in my opinion, the best player to ever lace him up. But then again, you have different players at different positions, whether it's Kareem, whether it's Bill Russell, whether it's the point guard position. If you're going to say it's Magic Johnson or somebody else, Jerry West, whatever. At the end of the day, in my opinion, Mike was still the best. And everything that Mike has touched for the most part, so long as he hasn't had a management in the team, we'll call it the Charlotte Basketball Club over there, right? The Hornets or whatever you call them these days. Guess what? Now Mike has joined the racing field. Mike's involved in NASCAR with Denny Hamlin. He's going to field a team headed up by his driver, Bubba Wallace. Now, according to Autosport, Jordan would be the first black majority team owner in NASCAR since Wendell Scott in the 1960s and 70s. Big round of applause for Mike. Now, former NBA center Brad Daugherty is currently a minority owner in the JTG Daugherty Racing team, but that has nothing to do with Mike because Denny Hamlin announced recently that he has joined forces with the NBA, of course, their poster boy and icon, Michael Jordan, of course, to field a NASCAR team and, of course, going to be driven by Bubba Wallace. Quote, growing up in North Carolina, my parents would take my brothers and sisters to races, and I've been a NASCAR fan my whole life. The opportunity to own my own racing team in partnership with my friend Denny Hamlin and to have Bubba Wallace driving for us is very exciting to me. Historically, NASCAR has struggled with diversity and have had very few black owners. The timing seems to be perfect as NASCAR is evolving and embracing social change and more and more. In addition, the recent commitment and donations I have made to combat systemic issues. Now, I see this as a chance to educate a new audience and open more opportunities for black people in racing, close quote, by Michael Jordan. Now, Wallace is the only black driver in racing full-time at NASCAR's top level. He announced earlier that he was leaving Richard Petty Motorsports after 3 seasons with the team. Wallace called joining forces with Hamlin and Jordan a unique and once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. Now, the single-car team would likely field Toyotas. Hamlin currently drives for Joe Gibbs and is chasing after his first Cup Series title. Toyota's been looking to field another car in the Cup Series in 2021 and beyond. Now, Hamlin said in a statement that deciding on a driver for the team was easy, quote, Bubba has shown tremendous improvement since joining the Cup Series, and we believe he's ready to take his career to a higher level. He deserves an opportunity to compete for race wins, and our team will make sure he has the resources to do just that. Off the track, Bubba has been a loud voice in change in sports and whatnot in the country, and MG and I support him fully in those efforts and stand behind him, close quote. Now, look, everybody knows Michael Jordan doesn't like to lose. He does not like to lose. He loves to talk smack, according to everybody that's been around him, whether you're at the golf course, whether you're on court. I know some people that have played pickup basketball with him, and they said this guy just constantly going and going and going, and he will get up in your kitchen because that's what Mike does. No question. Now, I know that me personally, I had sat at the 21 table with Mike for about an hour or so over at the Mirage in fabulous Las Vegas once upon a time. And it was the same thing. I've never seen anybody in my life talking trash to the dealer, talking trash to the other people that weren't winning while he was winning. I mean, lucky for me, I was just playing $5 a hand, but I was still winning. It was good. But the experience was fun because you get to sit at the table with somebody that not only hates to lose. I hate to lose myself. Nobody likes to lose money. Not that I know of anyway. But I will tell you that winning is infectious. The winning attitude is infectious. You talk with a guy like, we had Herschel walk around the last couple of segments. Herschel has an infectious personality. We have two-time Super Bowl champion and American Ninja Warrior on the show every Thursday and Friday and Mondays as well on the Sports Circus with Tyrone Poole. I tell you what, Tyrone's a winner. People know what it's like to win, and people that win, they want to win more. So guess what, folks? We're going to stick with that winning team, and Michael Jordan is that winning team. I'm going to place a bet on Mike's team that they're going to end up winning at some point next season. Folks, don't go anywhere. Lots more to come back here on the Circus. Back here in a few minutes from downtown Pittsburgh, from the Grand Viewpoint, overlooking this wonderful city with 400 bridges behind me. Yes, 400 bridges in the city of Pittsburgh, folks. Don't go anywhere. Lots more to come.
Quiet, numbskulls, I'm broadcasting.
Hey, this is Tommy John, and you're listening to the Sports Circus.
Welcome back to the Sports Circus. I'm your Ringmaster Sal, live from the AMP TV mobile studio here in downtown Pittsburgh. That's AAMP TV. Folks, make sure you check out thesportscircus.com for upcoming guests, our prior guests, our podcast. In case you missed today's show, any part of today's show earlier, especially with Herschel Walker, make sure you check us out on any of the links at thesportscircus.com. You can click on the NBC News link. You can click on the CNBC News link. You can also click on the CBS Sports link, iHeartRadio, Spotify. Everyone will bring you to today's show. So make sure you go back and listen to it if you didn't catch it all. Herschel was a fantastic guest. Got to tell you, folks, big round of applause for Herschel Walker joining the Sports Circus. All right, and a big welcome in to everybody listening in on our CBS, NBC, and Fox Sports affiliates, iHeartRadio, Spotify, hotel rooms from coast to coast, 650,000 rooms. That's quite a few, as well as our friends over in Las Vegas, Magic 97.9 FM. A big hello to them and everybody else across the country, even our friends down in Faraday, Louisiana on 107.1 The River. And I tell you what, we can't keep naming these things off because we're going to burn through the entire segment. So guess what, folks? Just make sure if you're watching on YouTube that you hit subscribe as well. All right, folks. Now, a little bit of racing for your soul, but on two wheels instead of four wheels, right? So we just had Michael Jordan in the last one talking about NASCAR. How about a little Tour de France, right? Now, two people are in custody at Tour de France because of a doping probe. Unbelievable. Now, the French Daily Le Parisien, French people detained two people that is, recently as part of an investigation into suspected doping at this year's Tour de France. Yes, pretty bad stuff. That would be the Arkea seismic team, prosecutors have announced. The probe is the first significant one in several years for the repeatedly scandal-hit tour, which wrapped up recently in Paris. Yes, with a victory for 21-year-old Tadej Pogacar, who became the youngest winner in more than a century. Big round of applause for him. Pretty exciting stuff. Imagine for 100 years, you're the youngest guy to do it. Now, in a statement, prosecutor Dominique Lawrence in the city of Marseille said that an investigation was being carried out into a small part of Arkea Seismic. Without specifying who had been placed in custody, Lawrence added that two people had, quote, many health products, including drugs, in their personal belongings, but also all of the above method and can be qualified as doping, close quote. Now, the general manager of the French team, Emmanuel Hubert, told AFP he was supporting his riders, quote, but if it turns out that at the end of the current investigation, elements came to confirm the truth of doping practices, the team would immediately disassociate itself from the acts and would take the necessary measures without delay, he said. Close quote, that is. A source familiar with the matter told AFP that the search had targeted several riders, including Colombia's Jair Quintana, brother of team leader and former Giro d'Italia winner Nairo Quintana, as well as members of the medical team. Now, that's an interesting part, members of the medical team. Now, French Daily Le Parisien reported that two in custody were a doctor and a physiotherapist. Wrap your head around that, folks. The two in custody being the two riders and or trainers. A doctor and a physiotherapist. Most people can't even spell physiotherapist, all right? Now, many had predicted the COVID-19 pandemic would provide riders making it to the 3,400 kilometers from the Mediterranean city of Nice to the French capital. Look, a lot of people didn't even think it would even happen. They said it's going to prevent everybody from racing. Well, guess what? Arkea Seismic team manager Hubert said the probe, well, only involved a very limited number of riders, and as well as their close entourage who are not employed by the team. He added that the investigation does not target the team or staff directly. According to the prosecutor, the investigation is focused on prescription of substances banned or methods for athletes, as well as help to encouragement in the use of substance of method in the first place. Now, the charges can lead up to 5 years in prison and up to a 75,000 euro fine, where in the United States, that's $88,000. It's a huge amount of money, but how about 5 years in prison just for trying to get one over on the Tour de France? Big round of applause for those stiff penalties. Now, speaking of stiff penalties, just imagine this, folks. Outside of the Tour de France, what if you actually stuck your arm in a tree and you grabbed a snake, but you grabbed the wrong snake? Now, we got to ask guys like Jim Bob from Redneck Adventures. We got to ask Jim Bob over at 107.1 over in Louisiana, Mississippi, Natchez, Mississippi. We got to ask them about what happens if you grab the wrong snake. They have something called a snake grabbing rodeo. Sonar, is that something that you'd participate in?
Absolutely not. Absolutely not.
It's a snake grabbing rodeo. He told me, he said, once in a while you kind of grab the wrong snake or you put your hand in the wrong tree, and you never know. Sometimes you could be bit.
I don't want to be involved in any activity where I might accidentally grab the wrong snake. Like, why is that not the biggest issue here? You are doing something where there is a chance you might pick a wrong snake, not the right snake. You might get a completely different snake that's not even part of our snake game. No, sir. Absolutely not.
I have to tell you, I am looking at tree climbing in a whole different point of view now. For me, when it comes to tree climbing, I never even once thought of snakes being on the inside of the tree, let alone even on the tree. I always think of snakes on the ground or in the bushes or in the ground, inside the ground, in holes, right? Snake holes. Do you ever think of snakes being in trees?
No, I grew up climbing trees. I cut my teeth climbing trees in Ohio. There's no snakes in the trees in Ohio. I don't have to worry about a snake falling on me. Well, it never happened, I guess.
As a kid down in Findlay, Ohio, Fostoria, Ohio, where my grandmother lived, my aunts and uncles lived, my cousins are over in that area. That's from the Ben Roethlisberger area, just, of course, where these Pittsburgh Steelers, right here in this wonderful city of Pittsburgh, that's where Big Ben's from. And, the funny thing is, I never thought climbing a tree out in the middle of left field, Ohio, could even have a snake. Now, I may imagine somewhere down in the bayou, you may have something like that. But, boss, I got to tell you, I remember one time going fishing. The very first time I went fishing, it was in western Ohio. And I went fishing, and I pulled a catfish, a channel cat, out of the water. And my cousin had said, go ahead and take the hook out of the mouth. Go ahead and pick it up. And I picked it up, and I got stung. Now, I knew what I was doing as far as I saw what I was grabbing. But going into a dark tree in a questionable setting, we'll just call it that, grabbing the wrong snake.
Yeah.
You're grabbing a snake.
Can you imagine going to the judges all proud? You're just like, I got this. Yeah, I'm going to walk right up to the judges, and they look at you and go, that's the wrong snake. Oh, what? The wrong snake? I didn't even know there were. Why are there even snakes? So yeah, and going back to catfish. See, those catfish. I'm glad you said hook, because there are people out there that do catfishing and they don't use a hook. They got their hand.
Yes. And you know who does that? Jim Bob. Jim Bob does that from Redneck Adventures. He goes catfish grabbing. Yes, folks. Catfish grabbing.
See, that's
unbelievable.
That's even scarier to me.
This guy's out there in the muddy water, and he's kind of like doing the hand in the tree thing, but he's just going down and grabbing for catfish. Are you kidding me? Some people get catfished on the internet, but this guy's getting catfish for real. He's grabbing them. He's hand grabbing catfish.
That's a game you don't want to come up with the wrong snake. noodling and trying to catch that catfish with your fingers, you don't want to come up with the wrong snake on that one.
I have to tell you, there are snakes in the water, too. And what was the old saying they see down in Florida? It was red and black, friend of Jack.
Yeah.
Or yellow and black, friend of Jack.
It's
something
red
like
on
that.
black, I think.
What is it?
It's touching. It's red on black.
Red on black, friend of Jack.
Yes.
So it means it's not going to kill you.
I think so,
but
yeah.
if it's yellow, you're hosed.
Yes.
Right?
I think so. I don't know. I don't deal with snakes. They're all dangerous. See, I'm one of those people that think that all snakes are dangerous. Cool. That covers everything. Don't have to worry about that. And all people in the world know karate. So I don't pick fights and I don't touch snakes. And that pretty much covers everything, right?
How about the snake grabbing, catfish grabbing kung fu? And that's something that a lot of people could learn. I'll tell you why. Because number one, they may need a new belt, and they also may need to eat in the same day. So if you can grab a snake and a fish in the same day, you're that much further ahead of the game. What do you think about that?
Well, I've seen those games where you just hit each other with fish. I mean, you just go on the internet and they just try to hit each other with catfish. Which I'm sure Jim Bob's laughing right now going, I've hit somebody with a catfish before. Yeah, I'm sure he has. I'm sure he's hit people with the wrong snake before.
I can't even imagine this. How do you hit somebody with a fish? I mean, you just two-handed throw it like they do over in the Pike's Marketplace in Seattle, how they're throwing it to wrap it up. You want to buy this one? Give me this salmon. I'm going to hurl it 20 feet across the room, and then you're going to catch it over there and wrap it up and take her home? I mean, is that what they do with catfish? But they end up hitting each other left and right. I mean, is that what happens
like
with
a sword?
Fish?
So when they go, I think they sit across. The ones I've seen, you sit across from each other, and you both have like a big fish. Like you grab it by the tail, like it's a big sword, a sword fish, if you will, and then you just rack them across the face. And I guess whoever like gives up, it's that punching contest we talked about before, where you essentially just punch each other until the other person gives up.
That reminds me of over in Greenland. They have an air pulling contest, right? So you're pulling, it's actually done, excuse me, not air pulling, but they have a rubber band. So it's two people face to face, and they have rubber bands around the back end of their ears, and they're pulling away from the other guy. Whoever gives up, I mean, sometimes the ears come off, but it's kind of like an air pulling contest, but with a rubber band. So it's really called an air pulling contest. And I guess it's in the same light. At some point, you're going to give up, but I can't imagine giving up, getting hit in the face with a gigantic fish. That makes no sense to me.
No, sir. No, the most extreme sport I go to is I throw the frisbee in a park. Like that's as far as I go. Come on, I'll watch whatever you want to. Sure, I'll bring my own 10-foot pole, but I ain't touching the wrong snake.
That's hilarious. All right, folks, that's going to do it for the circus today. A big thanks for Herschel Walker joining us today earlier. And, of course, a big thanks for, Sonar for talking fish grabbing and snake grabbing. That's going to do it for the circus. We're out of here, folks.
You want to be in show business. Do people tell you that you're really funny, you have a great personality, and you should have your own talk show? Many of us have been told that, but we don't know how to get started. It's easier than you think. Let the pros at Cali Vegas give you a free talent evaluation. Call 949-445-1119 and learn how quickly you can create, produce, and host your very own talk show. Imagine not having to sit in traffic every day, commuting back and forth to the same old boring job. Get started in television or radio today with your free talent evaluation from Cali Vegas. Call 949-445-1119 or visit them online at calivegas.com. Make your dream come true today and create your new career and learn how to become a television or radio star with the help of Cali Vegas. 949-445